Welcome to the Station Wagon. I'm the older brother, Marc.
And I'm little sister Julie. This is the podcast where my brother and I give up something we take for granted and tell you how it goes.
Buckle up and enjoy the ride. Hey, Julie, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Can you hear how well the station wagon is purring? It's a car thing. Just say yes.
Yes.
So I actually took one of our new station wagon stickers and stuck it on our Subaru station wagon. Yes, I do live in the Northwest in Snoqualmie. So now I've got a station wagon.
It's very meta.
My 12-year-old says and corrects me that it should be possessive. So she makes me say a station wagon's station wagon.
She's smarter than both of us put together, so I'll trust her on that one.
Yeah, she is. She's doing good. So today, in this episode, we're going to be giving up shaving. So one thing before we go on is I was listening to a podcast called Sheepod.
Yeah.
And
Sheep pod? It's all about sheep?
That would be pretty awesome. I would totally listen to that. No, like the word she and then pod.
Okay.
It's a portmanteau.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Marky, learning something.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome.
And they were talking about shaving also in their show. And they said that they felt free to not shave because they were taking a trip to Seattle.
It's so true.
Like, what? You agree with that? I just want to say to the Sheepod people that I see lots of people who are shaving, I guess. Well, I guess I would. Is that weird that I would actually check that out? Probably.
I don't know. My friend Bethany Coburn and I once were really bored at a conference and we started charting beards, no beards.
Right. And so, and when I asked people if they wanted to join along with me in this podcast, when I asked women if they wanted to do this with me, they all said no. I asked like 6 people.
Really?
Yeah, totally.
Oh, that's surprising. I live in...
And I work in Seattle, in Fremont, the weirdest place in Seattle. And that's the reaction I got.
Yes, but I live in Hippieville, Olympia, Washington, home of Evergreen University. And I think I might be at odd man out for being the one who shaves currently. So I am not at all worried about having leg hair and armpit hair.
All right. So, Julie, here's the definition. Basically, everybody knows what a shave is. It's cutting the hair close to the skin. So can we move on to the quiz, or do you need me to dive in more?
Nope. That was glorious.
All right, good. So here is the quiz.
Yes.
All right. Which of these has been a shaving tool? Choose all that apply. A pumice stone, a sharpened rock, or sharpened clam shells?
I'll go with the sharpened rock and sharpened clamshells.
They all have been.
Really?
In fact, as far back as the Egyptians, it's been recorded that they learned how to use pumice stones to get rid of that hair.
Wow. Okay.
Which I can't freaking imagine. That's got to be really painful. What do you think?
It doesn't sound too pleasant. Although, I don't know. I mean, the other things that people do these days to get rid of hair.
Oh, yeah, I guess. Sure. So which would you rather have, wax tearing out your hair or a pumice stone?
I'll choose wax.
Okay. Which of these is a reason people shave? Choose all that apply. And there's 4 here. For comfort, for fashion, to protect against diseases and infestation, or for ritual. For example, never mind. Or for ritual. Shut up.
I'll go for all of the above.
That's exactly right. And for ritual, like it was recorded as long ago as, Egyptians or the Romans, there was a ritual from when a boy became a man and had his first shave. They would save the hairs in a little box.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And the last part of the quiz, and Julie, you're doing pretty well.
I know it.
Well, you
I
actually
didn't
only
get the
got
first one. But...
Oh, yeah. So by pretty well, not perfect. Sorry.
But for me, it's pretty good.
Yeah, for you, it's pretty good. Which of these names of our new puppy was my first choice, and which did we choose?
Stella.
Okay, wait. Shut up with that. Here's the choices. Stella, Special Patrol Group from the Young Ones, or Pebbles.
Stella was your first choice.
That's right.
And you chose Pebbles.
Right.
Are you going to be talking about your puppy in every single episode from now on?
probably.
Okay.
Yeah, I've heard that chicks dig dogs. You can delete that.
Do I have to? That was pretty funny.
Yeah, no, you can leave it.
Okay.
All right. Well, that was the quiz. You did really well. You got 2 out of 3.
Yes.
And if you got that last question right, you are awesome. And you know me really well.
Was Stella like after a particular thing, or just do you like that name?
Well, we were thinking of Stella Luna, that bat from those books about the cute bat.
Because the puppy has got big ears.
No, because we wanted to be able to call her nickname Stella across dog parks.
That's what I told Mindy. You should shout it out as loud as you can, and if you feel stupid shouting it, then don't use that name.
No, I mean like Stella from A Streetcar Named Desire.
Stella!
Yes, exactly. We thought that would be awesome.
Okay, cool.
All right.
So that when your dog is misbehaving and you're trying to get it back to you, everyone will think, oh, that's cute.
Exactly right.
I see what they did there.
You know what? Actually, I wanted Special Patrol Group first. That was actually my first one.
Oh, so I got that one wrong?
You got that one wrong. Sorry. Let's move on to history.
Okay.
So the first thing about this is shaving is deep and wide, just like all of our topics. Shaving is a big topic, and it really predates history. They've found all kinds of different implements that they presume are for shaving. Mm-hmm. But really the first time it was recorded was about 1500 BCE, and that was when the first Egyptian straight razor was found.
Oh, wow. That's a long time ago.
Yes, it is.
History's big.
But the Egyptians, you can go to the library, check out some book, check out the internet. The Egyptians shaved for all kinds of reasons. Everybody from kids to grown-ups shaved their whole bodies or their heads for ritual, for health, for comfort. It was extremely hot in the Nile Delta region. So having no hair on your head and everywhere else meant that you'd be a lot more comfortable in that heat.
Gotcha.
And in fact, wealthy people would keep around somebody just to keep them hairless.
Really?
Yeah, totally.
Huh. Interesting.
Well, wouldn't you do that if you had the money?
I don't know.
And it was really hot all the time?
Sure. I'd rather they bring me juice.
All right. 1680s, the modern straight razor started selling in England, and also known as the what? Come on, Sweeney Todd.
I don't know.
The cutthroat razor.
Oh, okay.
Right, because it was just.
I mean, it's from like in the color purple.
I never saw it.
Okay, I haven't seen Sweeney Todd. So we'll just have to assume we're talking about the same thing. But you I have a question for you. You said the modern straight razor. So like from the 1600s, like it hasn't changed.
That's exactly right. So basically this from the 1600s on, the metal, the length, the decorations of them probably have changed. I mean, definitely have changed. But from 1680s on, there's a style that still exists today, and in fact, there's a French company that still uses the same steel fabrication process developed back then.
Whoa, cool!
Yeah, and they were called cutthroat razors, and you can check out our show notes if you don't know what this is, because basically it was a very sharp blade that folded up into a handle. But if you weren't careful, you could seriously kill yourself while you were shaving.
How exciting.
Yeah, it really put the adventure into your... Yeah, exactly. Very exciting. 1880s, the very first safety razor was invented. So this was a razor, and you've probably seen them, but basically this first one has a like a comb across the blade, so you can't get any skin against the blade. The comb lets little hairs go up into there, but that's it.
You have to try really hard to slit your throat with that.
You really would. The blades are replaceable. They kind of look like double-sided razor blades, if you've ever seen that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and they still make this kind of thing today. I mean, you could go walk on down to your Olympia IGA and get some.
And ask for the special permission.
You tell them who you are and what you stand for, and they'll give you one.
Okay, is that how it works? Great.
Yeah.
Got it. Got it.
1915, women removing hair under arms in America really began.
Really? 1915?
Yeah. Do you know about this at all?
No, I mean, I'm guessing it's because before then, no one saw your underarms except for your spouse.
That is a wonderful guess, right? Fashion was changing from the Victorian era where, like you just said, where everything was covered when you went outside. Body hair was a thing that was really just dealt with in the house. In 1915, though, fashions were changing. You were starting to see people coming out of their homes wearing fewer clothes. And in fact, the big thing that started this was a Harper Bazaar advertisement for a summer dress. And it shows a model with her arm up over her head wearing sort of it looks like a sleeveless dress, which would have been totally not seen before then. And the copy says, summer dress and modern dancing combined to make necessary the removal of objectionable hair. And it was the first time that armpit hair on women was said to be objectionable.
Oh man,
in
that
America,
is amazing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because I've wondered. I mean, for preparation for this episode, I was thinking I didn't get around to it. I wanted to look at art and to see, like, before that time in art, did women have armpit hair when their arms were raised, like in Venus? I don't know, or maybe just in painting. I don't know.
Well, what I read is that not having armpit hair is seen in a lot of Roman statues. Not having hair like that. And so it's quite possible that in other cultures at certain time periods, shaving was a really big deal. Like what we talked about in Egypt and then in Rome, they shaved a lot in Rome. In the United States specifically is what I'm talking about. And, all the way up to 1915, there wasn't a lot of shaving going on. There was probably very little. And this was the first time that, one author calls it the Great Underarm Campaign began. And in all seriousness, it was inundating women and men looking at this stuff too, with pressure that now a part of their body that had been completely normal and natural just the day before became objectionable. And it's bogus.
It's so true. Oh my gosh, that's what I'm going to talk about. So yeah,
okay, so
I'll save it.
All right, cool. 1930, the very first electric razor was invented by none other than Jacob Schick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think I would want to put this sucker on my face, but it looks pretty good. 1975, Bic sells the first disposable razor. And they look a lot like the kind you can still get from them.
It makes sense. I mean, a sharp piece of metal that could potentially pierce you. You don't want to use the same one for many, many years.
What are you talking about?
Tetanus.
What are you talking about?
Risk.
You mean like you wouldn't want to use the first one from 1975?
No, I'm just saying. I think disposable razors make sense.
Well, yeah. So it's interesting. Well, like the straight razors, those are made out of hardened, really nice steel.
But you have to clean them really well. And who's got time for that?
Well, and the disposable razors are made of very soft metal. They rust real easily. They'll get nicked up and stuff. Yeah, I mean, well, they're disposable.
Oh, so nice ones wouldn't actually rust and get nicked
up.
Right,
like I'm sure a really nice cutthroat razor probably is very hard to rust. But gotcha. I'm probably totally wrong.
Do people really call it that?
I'm sure hardcore people do. I don't know what they call it. I don't hang out in those circles. What do you want from me?
I don't know.
March 2016, and this is where I'm going to end, we adopted a puppy from caninrr.org and named her Pebbles, and she's the cutest puppy in the universe.
She's pretty cute.
She's cute. Half boxer, half beagle.
Okay, so back to your previous point before you started whining about your dog.
Do you mean talking earnestly about my dog? Okay,
yes.
Just checking.
Has she peed on the floor lately?
Yes, I think it was 3 or 4 times today, but she's very little because she's a puppy. But she's a cute. Yeah, I actually have a Viz set up for that. Where I'm tracking it.
I'm not.
I'll include a link to it in the show notes, listeners.
Oh my gosh! So
you'll be able to see how many times we fed her, how many times she's drinked, how many times she's peed and then pooped.
I want to know how many times she's drinked.
Did I say drinked? And the pee is colored yellow, and the poop is brown in the visualization.
Oh, you mean on the chart?
Yes.
You weren't just informing us about the color of her bowels.
No, that would be gross, Julie.
Well, we wouldn't want to
go
stoop to
there.
that. On to science. So one thing that the scientists are interested in is, do we shave because of social norms, or is it because of something biological and
I vote
evolutionary?
social norms.
Do
Yes.
you? Well, yeah, absolutely. But also
good.
there's something
Can we end the show
biological
right now?
No. Okay. There's definitely both. I mean, in part, like you said, as soon as those advertisements came out, that definitely changed things. And we're in the midst of a change in terms of what we think about body hair and facial hair right now. Up until a couple decades ago, it would have been very strange, not strange, but unusual for men to consider removing some of their body hair other than their facial hair. But then it became more common in gay male culture, and now it's common in heterosexual male culture as well. So it's not just gay men, it's not just
now, are
women.
you talking about for
too.
fashion? Because I have a roommate had a roommate, and Eric, you know who you are, who used to shave his legs for biking.
Right. I am talking about for attracting their mates.
For fashion.
Some men, for fashion, yeah. Some men think it makes them look more muscular to have less hair. I guess you can see more muscle tone. But they're also reporting, well, it's more normal to take off the hair, which is so weird because it's not normal.
Who said that?
Our bodies, men said that in studies.
Studies. Paula Poundstone, would you please talk to Julie about studies?
The peer-reviewed references are in the show notes. But, I mean, this just shows that it really is a new norm, that men are starting to think of this as just the way that their bodies should be. A little bit of body hair is okay, but too much is abnormal, which is just not true. Your body is hairy because that's the way bodies are, but it's just not the way we think about it. Okay, so here's a question for you. According to the peer-reviewed research, which kind of facial hair do you think women find the most attractive in men?
What you mean, like the placement on one's face?
How much? Like no facial hair, a little bit, a lot?
Well, according to the peer-reviewed research or Miami Vice?
Let's go with
Okay,
both.
so I would think, just based on watching television and movies, that having like 1 day of growth is what women really like.
Absolutely.
Okay, based on peer-reviewed journals, I would say a full beard because it goes along with having the ability to procreate.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so no, it is the most attractive is the like slight growth, like a few days of stubble.
Oh, really? So you're talking about research?
I'm talking about actual research. But that's when you hold all things equal. Okay. So there's lots of other factors.
Wait a minute. Okay, go ahead.
I'm gonna say some characteristics, and you say if this is more common for women's rating of bearded men or non-bearded men, okay?
Okay, all right, let me try.
Okay, trustworthy.
Non-bearded men.
Nope, bearded men. Masculine.
Oh. Non-bearded men.
Nope, bearded. Aggressive.
Bearded men.
Yes. Parental. Like a good dad.
A bearded man.
Yeah, bearded men. Okay, conservative.
Non-bearded
Nope,
men.
bearded. You do not think like a straight woman. Rich.
A non-bearded man.
Nope, bearded.
Oh, come on.
Sexist.
Wait. Does it say something about me that I keep saying the same answer the whole time and I haven't learned from the pattern that you're revealing here? Okay, bearded men.
Sexist.
Bearded men.
Yes. Poopy.
What?
Poopy.
I'm not even going to dignify that with an answer.
Well,
you've wasted my time.
There is research on that, and it's very important because we need to know for healthcare workers what's the healthiest for their faces. You can't put like a
Wait,
hairnet.
are you saying the word poopy?
I am.
What the heck does that mean to you? What do you mean by that?
Fecal
that
matter.
They're covered in poop?
Fecal matter.
What?
Staph
doesn't
infection.
even make sense. Like, you mean like, do they have a staph infection?
Yes. Who has more bacteria?
Oh my God, bearded men.
No, non-bearded men.
Oh, come on.
It's true. I don't know why. I totally thought it would be those with the beards. Check out my references.
Well, yeah, because they're always getting soup in their beards.
I guess the soup doesn't have much fecal matter in it, or it like kills the fecal matter. But
so Yeah, it kills the fecal. No, the rats living in the beards kill the fecal matter.
They just, arr, arr, arr. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Okay, so generally, okay, again, this is holding all things equal. Men
Right.
with beards.
Wait, when you say holding
I'm gonna
all
get
things
there.
equal, do you mean that the same man, like the same good-looking man
Yeah.
was put out on the street without a beard and then with a beard?
Yes, they took pictures of the same good-looking and crappily looking men with beards and without beards. Okay, the reason I keep
So,
saying
Julie, which group would you say that I would fall into in that category?
you're definitely a non-bearded man. What do you mean? Oh, you mean crappily?
Oh, perfect. No, you can stop.
Okay.
That was great. Keep going.
Okay. The reason I keep saying all things being equal is because in general, women are more attracted to men. Straight women are more attracted to men who resemble their own current partners. So in other words, if a woman is currently partnered with a non-bearded man, she's going to rate other non-bearded men higher. And women tend to go with the same characteristics as their dad. Ew.
Wait, what?
So if a woman is raised by a bearded man, that's what she's going to find more attractive later. They kind of imprint.
Oh, okay.
You know.
So what if your dad has a beard for part of her life, but not for the other part? Which part is more formative?
I don't know. Probably the earlier part. But again, that it doesn't explain all of the variants. So even with that, there's still other ways that, I mean, it's not like you need to go out and find a clone of your dad. You can still find other people attractive. So in general, people are more attracted to the style of their current mate and their fathers. But despite that, so when you're holding all those factors equal, men with just slight growth are found the most attractive. And bearded men are generally thought of as more trustworthy. And again, this is like the same man with a beard and without a beard. More trustworthy, more masculine. If they're making an angry face, they look angrier and more aggressive when they have the beard. They're rated as better parents. They're seen as more conservative, which I was kind of surprised by. But I guess that's because I live in the hippie Northwest where, here it's like...
Yeah, but Paul Bunyan had a beard, didn't he?
Yeah, check out how conservative that dude was.
Oh, well, right. He chopped down all the trees, right?
Higher social status. But here's an interesting one. So all those are just perceptions, right? Like they're not actual, like men with beards are not automatically more masculine or aggressive.
There's no correlation or causality going on there. It's just people's perceptions of it.
Except for one study I read showing that men with beards actually do tend to be more sexist in looking at men in the United States and in India. But that's just one study.
Do you think it was a good study?
It did seem pretty good, but still, it was just... I don't know. I mean, that's such
just one study,
right?
More research required.
Yeah, but here's something interesting. So this is timely political. What about voters? What would you say female voters would think? Candidates with beards or without beards, based on everything I just said?
Without beards. And
Why?
based on everything you just said, it's wrong, but I'm basing that on the fact that that I can't think of a single politician except for like the old timey ones that had beards.
You're right. Candidates with beards, they are seen by women as more conservative on women's issues, and women are less likely to vote for them, even though if you review like actual voting results of men with beards and without beards, it doesn't play out. There's no correlation between the men with beards being against women's rights and more conservative on women's issues. But if you're trying to get the female vote, you probably want to shave.
Oh, weird.
So
weird.
Here's another little nugget. Even though a little bit of beard and mustache growth is most attractive to straight women, if your facial hair comes in patchy, you're better off without any.
Okay, good, because that's going to be me for the next 2 weeks.
It?
Let's move into what we're going to do. Yeah, so I am super excited about this one because the last episode I seriously injured my little toe.
Aww.
And so this one, I'm not going to be touching my face with a razor blade for 2 weeks, and I am wicked excited about it.
I already started.
Good. Okay, so for me, what this means is basically I'm not shaving my face. And that's already something I hate doing, but I have to because of my social norming that my wife tells me I have to do. So that's fine, whatever. So I shave, but this could be the best episode ever because I don't have to take any action to take part in this episode.
You have to like wash your face extra or something.
Yeah, maybe scratch it a little bit.
Oh yeah, are you gonna be one of those
It's gonna get
dudes who's
itchy.
just like constantly touching his face?
I
Uh,
don't know. I will record that if I am, and
Please
I'll let you
do.
know.
It's a
Yeah.
little annoying when men grow a beard for the first time and they like cannot stop. I don't know. It's like
Well,
they're
isn't that similar to women with long hair who kind of like pat their hair like it's a pat, like a pet
yeah,
squirrel on their
exactly.
shoulder?
I mean, it becomes like the new pet who lives on their chin or on their, and that's annoying too. And women do
Okay.
it also. Yeah, for
Okay.
me,
We all have our unique and wonderful ticks. What are you gonna
I'm
do?
really excited about this also. Like I said, I started like 4 days ago because I wanted to get a good start on
Four
the
days
growth.
ago.
Because I
Okay.
loved being a college student who didn't do any grooming kind of stuff like this. I mean,
God.
I brushed my teeth, you know, but other than that,
Right. Right.
and
Right.
so I'm thrilled. You know, some of the research I read said that for women's body hair, there was this one study where a researcher wanted to enlist a whole lot of women to let their hair grow out for a while, and she recorded all the reasons the women kept saying no. For straight women, the women were afraid of reprisal from their family, like their family being like, ew, yuck. And also
Mm-hmm.
their partner, they wanted to get permission from their partner first, which
Mm.
is kind of interesting. When I read that, I was like, oh my gosh, that's ridiculous. Why would you have to ask your man if you can do that? And then I realized I had totally done that earlier in the day. I'd said to Jason, is this okay? So,
Yeah, just that same day.
yeah, but
What's
still,
wrong with you?
man, let's get started on what's wrong with me. And for
Okay.
gay women and for homosexual women, it increased a fear of being outed. Of, oh well, if I
Huh.
have body hair as well, that's just another
Mm.
thing that could potentially out me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, for me, I am excited. I don't worry about so much that stuff. I got Jason's buy-in, which I'm embarrassed to say mattered to me, but it does because he's my best friend.
Cool. Well, I can't wait.
Okay, well, let's let our audience listen to the pleasure kills for a little bit while we take a 2-week break and grow all our hairs out real long.
My husband John never had a beard, and then the year after we were married, I think in 1969 at Christmas time, the huge big Asian flu went through the United States. We got it, and he didn't shave for a week, and he said, I'm never shaving again. And he didn't. I love the beards. I don't like it when they're coming in.
Living in Seattle now, there's lumbersexuals everywhere. It's pretty hilarious. You can tell when you're in Seattle by all the different beards that are around and the levels at which they exist, chin length, chest length. It's pretty crazy. I find that I do like a beard. I'm a fan of the beard, so I definitely am very happy with the coming back in style of beards. And my partner has a beard too, and he recently went a couple of weeks without trimming his beard. And it was pretty hilarious though, because it all was windswept off to one side, so it looked like he was constantly in a state of rushing wind.
Look at my armpit.
Ew!
Why is that you?
Because it's so fuzzy. When you're a grown-up, your armpits will be hairy too. But I don't want them to be hairy. Well, too bad for you, because they will be.
Thank you, Kathy, Sarah, Elsa, and Kai.
So, hey, Julie,
Hey, Mark, what's that noise?
before we get into that,
Ah.
because that's really ridiculous,
Mhm.
I just want to, since it's been 2 weeks, I just want to let you know that I'm down to 209 pounds.
From what?
222.
Holy crap, dude!
Wait, is that right? Yeah, that's right. Uh-huh. I'm
Oh
awesomely going down. It's
gosh.
pretty wild because I'm not really working too hard at it. I think basically what's happening is we have a puppy. And so I'm spending a lot of energy that I never used to spend chasing the puppy around and getting her active.
Oh man, that is amazing. I'm so happy to hear that. You know,
Thank you.
Kendra was kind of like nailing me down for my responses in our last episode, and I had to admit that I was kind of hoping that just engaging in podcasting would magically reduce my weight by 5 pounds.
So what was Kendra saying to you?
She was like, don't you remember that in the first half of your episode, you said that you just wanted to maintain your weight, but then in your second half, you were disappointed that you didn't lose weight. So you weren't actually being honest with yourself.
Oh, that Kendra.
She's so right, too.
She's a truth teller.
She is a truth teller, and everyone hates a truth teller.
That's right. Exactly. So, Julie, you were asking me a question about something or other?
Yeah. Hey, Marc, what's that noise?
I don't hear anything.
It's kind of a rumble noise.
Is this your attempt to segue into a Rumble marketing promo spot?
Maybe.
Okay, well, let's get into it then.
Okay.
This episode is sponsored by Rumble Marketing. Rumble Marketing will help you explain even complicated products and services simply, crisply, and with compelling emotional resonance. Julie, what's a complicated product you can think of that you'd like to have explained to you? Oh, I know. How about how to hook up a microphone to a computer?
Oh my gosh. Do you think Rumble Marketing could help me with that? That would be amazing.
They could help the brand of microphone make it more clear about like how easy or difficult it is to use their microphone.
Oh, that would be incredible.
Yeah.
I will call them.
Well, good. So you should call Rumble to ask them to nail your microphone's brand voice, communicate key product messaging, or schedule an award-winning workshop to train your sales and executive team to create more effective business communications.
We can contact Rumble Marketing at rumblemarketing.com or on LinkedIn. And I'm totally going to do that. I'm about to send the most confusing email they have probably ever received.
Yeah, listeners, give Rumble Marketing a call. So, Julie.
Tell me all about it.
It's been 2 weeks. We haven't been shaving. And in the show notes for this podcast, listeners, if you want to go see an awesome animated GIF, you can see me on a day-by-day basis growing out my facial hair. Super exciting. Julie, so this really stunk. And
what? Really? I thought you were loving it.
Well, it's pretty cool not to have to do anything and still get a podcast episode going, but I do not like having facial hair is what I finally, verified for myself.
Oh man. So you actually noticed, which I guess is a stupid statement. Of course, you noticed a thing on your face.
Well, right. So I noticed it every day. Nobody else until it got kind of, I don't know, it never really got bushy or long, but until it started growing in more and you could like see the gray hairs and stuff all over my face. No one really noticed until then. And very few people actually mentioned it, which was interesting.
Is this the first time you've ever grown in your beard?
No, it's like the second time.
How long ago was the first time?
Like
because you were surprised to have gray hair, right?
Right. It was a couple years ago. So I think I had a little bit of gray then. Kendra actually said that the gray made me look super awesome.
It's nice how people we love lie to us.
Well, you can't have it both ways. You just said that she's a truth teller.
Exactly.
Yeah. So she said that she liked my facial growth with some gray in it because it looked really handsome and distinguished or something.
That's awesome. Okay, here's my question for you.
Yeah.
Did she like it the entire time, or was there like a sweet spot? A weekend, it was awesome, and then after that, it was like, wah!
It was a lot like what you said in the first half of this episode where, what was it, the surveys of women said that growth like after a few days is the sweet spot, right?
Right.
That's what she said she liked the most, but seeing the gray in it when it was longer, she also thought that made me look very handsome.
Well, I saw you and I thought it looked really nice.
Did you think so?
Yeah, I thought, oh, that's a guy I'd like to be my therapist.
Oh, geez. Oh, geez. That's
I was
awesome.
like, that's a guy I could trust.
Isn't that what we're doing on this podcast, though? I mean, really?
This is totally therapeutic. Listening to us do all this stupid stuff so no one else has to.
Right, exactly. At first, it was just fine. And then at about the end of the first week, it just started to crawl. And
what do you mean?
Well, it felt like my face was crawling for like pretty
itchy?
No, like moving.
What? Were there bugs in your beard?
No, I mean, not any more than the 2 facial mites that all of us have on our faces. Look it up, listeners. It's true. Go listen to Big Picture Science about it. It's pretty awesome. Yeah, one of the mites has like a bunch of legs and this tail, and it lives down in your pores.
What are you talking about?
And the other facial mite kind of hangs out on top of the surface of your skin.
Can we pause for 10 minutes while I Google this?
Sure. Yeah, no, it's all true and real. They do a beneficial service for us on our face. I think they eat a lot of dead skin cells and stuff. Have little parties up there under your nose. Yeah, it's all true. True stuff.
Listeners, I just looked it up and it's all false.
You didn't just look it up.
No, I didn't. It doesn't have the ring of truth.
If anybody is an entomologist, please let us know how wrong Julie is. Anyway, no, it didn't itch really. It just felt like, I don't know how to describe it. It was just like this crawling, moving feeling.
Weird.
Very weird.
Oh, maybe your beard was sentient.
Oh my God. Like from Kids in the Hall?
I don't remember that episode.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So there was an episode of Kids in the Hall where I think it was just called The Beard. And this guy goes on a fishing trip. And while he's on the fishing trip for 2 weeks or whatever, he grows a beard and it completely changes his personality to a huge, like surreal extent. And eventually he dies and the beard leaves his face. So yeah, so Julie, I mean, bottom line for me.
Before you go on, very important. Beep, 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 beep. I just looked up face mites and that's a thing.
Cool, right? They're awesome looking. If you go on YouTube, you can see face mites under the microscope moving around. It's really awesome. Okay. Yeah, so it wasn't even really a beard. It was just more like sporadic facial hair.
Gray.
And sort of brown, yeah. And you can see that loveliness in our show notes in an animated GIF I'll put up there. How was your experience?
Okay, well, a couple of things. So first of all, every time people would ask me, "Hey, what are you doing right now for your podcast?" I kept forgetting. Like this was so not part of my consciousness that I was just like, not beds, not right, shaving. It was like I had to do nothing. It was so effortless. And the only times I thought about it were just like here and there, like when changing my clothes. And I'd be like, oh, I've got a little pet under my arms. I love it.
Oh my
gosh. It was so cute. And I just wanted to touch it. And
was it like a cat or more like a guinea pig?
It was like a big fuzzy caterpillar because it hasn't grown in more than like a centimeter, I guess.
Oh my God.
And I kind of wanted to take cool, alluring pictures with my armpit hair, but I don't know. I'm doing this
How'd that go for you?
I didn't do it. I'm doing this podcast with my brother. So I was like,
yeah. What if I promise not to look at those and we can put it below the fold on our website?
I'll consider it. But I'll ask Jen June photography. So I love this. It was great. At the beginning, my daughter, as you probably heard in the interviews, was like, ew. And that to me was just motivation to totally keep doing it because
you want a girl power.
Totally. Mommy feminist role model because she's mirroring me. And it is kind of weird that I'm like, oh, this is my body. Now I'm going to shave off the hair. I mean, what message does that send? But also, I just liked it. It was nice saving a few minutes. It didn't bother me at all. I mean, it wasn't itchy or anything. It was soft.
Okay, so since I did facial hair and you did armpit hair, did you notice you became extra smelly?
No.
I know that.
I didn't know.
Okay, I know that's like an indelicate question, but I'm sure listeners are dying to know.
As I tell my children, all my body smells smell like flowers. So
very good.
It's possible that my experience could have been a little bit different in summer, but even then, if I was swimming and things, I don't think it would have been a big deal. Maybe it's because of where I live. Everyone around me has armpit hair. The women, it's not a big deal.
Thank you, Olympia.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it was the exact opposite in Seattle where, I was telling people what we were doing, like I said, in the first half, and any of my women friends declined to play along with us. Right. So I watched a little animation that I'll put a link to in our show notes. It's really great about why you shouldn't shave and what the purpose of underarm hair is and pubic hair is and stuff. And underarm hair, it actually serves a purpose to disseminate pheromones for procreation.
But what if you don't want to procreate?
Then you better shave it off.
All right. Thank you very much.
There you go. Which is kind of counterintuitive because we think that having arm hair or not having arm hair makes you more attractive.
So how did your family and your kids think about it?
They hated it. Everyone hated it.
But Kendra liked it, right?
Well, Kendra liked the way it looked. She couldn't stand giving me a kiss.
Ew.
And neither could my kids.
No.
They couldn't stand it. So yeah, you want to hear from my 7-year-old?
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear the clip from my 7-year-old.
I hate it when you don't shave because whenever I hug you, it pricks me like a porcupine, and now you're a porcupine.
I'm a porcupine.
Yes.
Do I look really handsome with 2 weeks of not shaving?
No.
What do I look like?
You look like a porcupine.
Okay. Yeah, so porcupine, I know. She thinks I look like a porcupine or felt like it.
Smell you fine.
She needs to learn about other kinds of animals out there, little 7-year-old, because porcupine quills are very, very long.
Like skunk?
Yeah, maybe more like a skunk.
Yeah.
Or like, no, what's that?
Chinchilla.
What's a hedgehog. Hedgehog quills are sharp and short.
Okay.
That's more like what I was. Yep. My 12-year-old also just hated touching my face too. Now, Pebbles, on the other hand, our puppy, who's just turned 3 months old, I think she actually really was grooving on it because, like, I would nuzzle with her and cuddle, and she would like rub her face against my fuzzy face, and I think she really liked it.
Yeah, it reminded her of like one time when, I don't know, she fell on a rock or something.
What?
I don't know, because that was stupid.
That was terrible.
I'm really tired.
So Julie, for me, yeah, if I had like a few days to kill and I wanted to, regain my Don Johnson handsomeness.
Because that's totally where you were in the 80s.
Totally where I was and where I can be now. Yeah, I would totally let it grow that long, like for just a few days, but I would never let it go for like a week or more. That was just too uncomfortable for my family and for me.
But what about on the...
And I don't understand all these guys who are growing beards and becoming lumbersexuals. I don't get it.
Oh my gosh, like Jonathan Troyer. Oh, I hope he doesn't mind me calling him out. He's one of our Facebook followers, and his beard, I just wanted to run my fingers through it.
So Julie, you're going to start shaving again. Me, I'm going to start shaving again and keep it up. So basically, we would recommend this to anybody who, what? Would we recommend this?
I would. I think it's really important for, okay, maybe I have a somewhat unique experience of being a woman who spent a large part of my life not shaving my armpit and leg hair. I think if I had grown up in a different geographic region, this might be something I would never have done. I think for a lot of women, from the time they reach puberty, they are instructed, get rid of that body hair. That's disgusting. Totally.
So for me, I would recommend this if you wanted to just take the next step and grow a full, vivacious, bushy beard, if you're one of those guys.
Well, what about the Don Johnson look? I mean, you said that's what's most attractive.
Yeah, or if you want to keep the Don Johnson look going, but you have to have the assumption that there's going to be a wide swath of people who don't want to get close to your face.
That's true. If you want to look good but not get any touching, then yes.
I don't even know what to say to that. Where should I go with that, Julie?
Nowhere. Pretend it didn't happen.
Okay.
Anyway,
okay. I will unknow it.
Okay.
So anyway, Julie, that's that. Okay. Shave done.
Okay.
We're putting it on the shelf. Our show notes will be up by the time you are listening to this, dear listeners. Go check it out.
Wait, I'm confused. Before we go on, you wanted to extend this for another week. Was it just because you wanted it to get bushier and more annoying?
Yeah, I wanted to see what would happen.
Why don't you just do that? Why don't you keep it for another...
I've already shaved.
Oh, what?
Yeah, I'm done. I shaved, today, by the time we recorded this, because you had those awful audio problems, listeners, I wasn't joking about her needing some help with audio. It's already Tuesday night. We usually record on Monday night and get done Tuesday morning. So I shaved it off this morning and my family rejoiced.
What did it feel like? Did it feel like slimy, like when you get your braces off?
No, it didn't feel slimy. It just felt like, I don't know, normal skin. Weird. And Kendra, when I came home today, she said, I meant to tell you that this morning, but your face feels awesome.
Okay, that's okay. Yeah, that's
what?
Cool. Did you become evil at all? Like when evil Spock had a
when
beard?
you see my pictures, Julie, when you see my pictures, definitely, I have kind of resting, I'm angry face.
What?
Totally. And so having facial hair really accentuates the downward trend of my mouth. Right? So I think it makes me look just angry. Yeah, I think it makes me look even angrier.
I don't know. All I thought was therapist. I just wanted to spill it. Okay, well, if you like this, please go to wagonpod.com where you can listen, view show notes, and apparently see lots of pictures of Marc, and subscribe to the podcast. And
right, on Wagon Pod, Julie, you can also get t-shirts there, and we are selling some stickers.
Oh yeah, they're awesome.
They're pretty cool.
Connect with us on Facebook at the Station Wagon Podcast and Twitter at WagonPod. I probably put in too many ats.
Yes, you did. Try again. Or just go to @WagonPod on Twitter. Perfect. And we've actually we tweet a lot. And actually, I tweet a lot. Julie doesn't know how to use Twitter. And I will talk with you. And in fact, over the last week or so, I've been communicating back and forth over Twitter with some of our listeners. It's been really fun.
That's cool.
Yeah. And give us iTunes reviews.
Oh, and share with your social media friends.
Or friends IRL.
Or friends IRL. And you can email us your suggestions at wagonpodcast@gmail.com. Like a couple people have done recently, like Sarah Smith and Jamie Pelfrey. Thank you so much.
And we also take those over Twitter too, Julie.
And Facebook and stuff.
Yeah, everywhere. Just trip over the internet. You will find us.
Thank you to the Pleasure Kills for the use of this song, Modern Problems.
Thanks to Rumble Marketing for all the money.
And buying our Smarty Juice. And thanks to our spouses and our children for putting up with us.
So, Julie, you know what?
What?
Next time we pull the station wagon out of the garage, you know what we'll be giving up?
Killing people.
Sort of, I guess. I mean, we're going to be giving up some of our dangerous driving habits. We're going to keep some, but we're going to give up some.
Right, because no matter how many habits we give up, we might still be crappy drivers. But
and also we don't want to push all of our giving up into one episode. What would we talk about in the future?
No, I really think this next episode is going to be the one that saves people's lives. Finally, we're making a real difference
or at least maybe make my carpool buddy Kieran not grip the seat so much.
Oh no, poor Kieran. Kieran, you're awesome. You're so my hero.
Bye, Kieran, and bye, listeners. We'll talk to you next time.
You want to try that again?
No, just take out your dumb thing that you did.